Even though our skin is our body's largest organ, it's really easy to overlook how complicated it is. When we see it like this, it's a little bit more clear. So let's make it more simple. To begin with, our skin has three main layers. We have our epidermis, our outermost layer, then we have our dermis, which is our secondmost layer, and then we have our hypodermis, our base layer, also known as our subcutaneous layer. So our epidermis is small but mighty. This is the main layer that's responsible for being a semi-permeable barrier. So this barrier is waterproof, but we can let things like sweat and oils out of it through our glands, and we also grow hairs out of it. So another thing that this layer can do is it can absorb certain topical treatments, so say a hormonal treatment or a pain treatment or any type of lotion, but it still keeps microorganisms out. So the first layer of this, we have all of these desquamating cells. So all of these cells actually flake off, and these are what you would find in your dust around your house. So this first layer of cells is actually called the stratum corneum, which are our dead and our water repellent cells. This black line right here represents our stratum lucidium. So this layer is really important. We find it on our hands and our feet majorly. So this layer is responsible for withstanding points of friction. So when we want to do something like a pull-up or run a mile, this layer keeps our layers of skin together. The next layer we have this thick yellow one, and this is our granulosum. Here you'd find keratin, which is very important for both our hair and our skin. So next up we have this red line right here. Now this red line represents our stratum spinosum. Right here it's just responsible for strength and our flexibility. The last layer that we have is this green thread. This is our stratum basal layer. So we have melanocytes, which determine the color of our skin, and we have keratinocytes. So this is the site of keratin synthesis. So the keratin starts here and it moves all the way up to this thicker yellow line where the keratin is stored. So the next layer we have is our dermis. Seems like everything big really happens in the dermis. We have our blood vessels, we have nerves, we have glands, we have hair follicles. So everything big really starts here. This is also our next defense mechanism. So say a microorganism gets into our body, this is where the signal starts to alert the rest of the body that something that's not supposed to be there is. So the next thing that we have here is our subcutaneous or our hypodermis layer. So the main part of this layer is the fact that it also has a layer of fat. So this layer of fat is really important for insulating our bodies, so keeping us warm, cooling us off, and it's a really important calorie store. So in total, our skin does so much for our bodies, and it's something that honestly we take for granted. And it's a very important organ that some people don't even know is an organ. But in total, all of these multiple layers, which are 8 if you really think to count them in that way, are very important for us, and we would not be able to survive without them.